add to the comments this morning. We're earlier on telling you about how following now the recollated constituency 7 now declared for the MPP, leaving 2 outstanding. What next do we have to discuss, and what sort of also precedent do we set as it is? But I see a number of you. So please make sure as you are watching us, you also share the stream. Good morning to you, Kwesi Mensa. I already see Dela Li Sawapo. Good morning to you as well. Abdullah Abubakar, Daniel Akpaliok, and then underwriter Prince Henry Kofodia. Good morning. Shaddai Adote, great guy. Merry Christmas in advance to all of you. As you share the stream, please also tell us about what you make of this. And subsequently, the second part, we'll try and round off with that E-Gate saga at the international airport, that's Kutuka International Airport, for which we had the Minority Chief Whip raising concerns by the close of the last week, and what matters thereof we need to look into. Again, we have cash out. It goes with a short code *439#. I promise you that we're going to have some great Christmas right here on TV3 New Day. My producer is insisting we're going to have some great programming on Christmas Day and then also throughout the period of the new year. But let me just introduce our guests for the morning. I quickly would have to start with a number of them. And cash out goes with the short code *439#. With *439#, it also means that you have to choose option 2. When you choose that option, you also try as many times as possible to increase the number of tickets you have and make sure that you become one of those lucky winners. We are building up to the mega jackpot, the 27th of December. Cash Money Cookie will be right here. She's promising 50,000 Ghana cedis to winners and then 100,000 Ghana cedis to winners. Because we work with Media General, terms and conditions, we are barred from participating, but don't worry. We're with you in grace and in spirit. All right. Happy birthday to you. Osei Boateng, you live in Kumasi, in Shire, so specifically, I wish you all the best. Rafael Osei Bonsu, you're also in Kumasi as well, just so your wife Portia. And then for many of you who tend to watch us across the country, we're grateful. Dela Tamaklo, you're the son of the chief executive for the RAID Group. You also work with the RAID Group as well. Dela Tamaklo, happy birthday to you. Great guy. And let me just introduce Kofi Tonto. And Kofi Tonto works with the presidency as always. You work with the presidency, right?
I'm assistant to the vice president.
Special aide or assistant to the vice president of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoudou Baumia. DMB, it is possible 2024. Welcome to our studio. It's been a while.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I was out in Kumasi for the
Yes,
campaign,
doing a lot of cover. I saw many of your interactions. On,
where did you see them?
On social media.
Oh, I see.
You were communicating a lot on some of the radio stations and TV stations as well. Great work you did within the period. And then also legal practitioner. 2 of them we have in the studio. Lawyer Apia Dankwa. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah. And then also Eduji Tamaklo is also the director for the legal directorate of the NDC. Has been, I don't know whether the right word is to shouting, but has been commenting when concerns about recollation had started and ended the way it did, issuing some warnings, etc. But he said, good morning to you, Eduji.
Good morning. Let me join you in wishing Dela happy birthday. Okay. I was with the father over the week.
Okay.
So, happy birthday, Dela.
All right. As it is, please, Kwame Ofori, you're here. Make sure that you share our stream. Mani, great guy. Menu Adayini, also wishing you all the best. And Samuel Ansan, I wish you all the best. All right, share the stream. Let's have some great conversations thereof. But we know that the constituency declared earlier on in contention. We'll put them on the screens for you. And that will mean that you will know that by now I have Fuano North, I have Fuano Southwest, in Sawamu Edwejiri, and that's the majority chief whip's constituency retained. And then also Obuasi East, Chechima in South, Okankwe Central, and Tema Central all declared for the MPP. But we also know that 2 are outstanding because of some a number of issues. 62 apparently pink sheets remain outstanding. They need to somehow be submitted, and then the continuation of the recollation undertaking. Well, I think it was same Ablikuma North, right? I heard is it the retaining officer saying that with those outstanding constituency, he could not do those declarations. We'll see how those ones also go. For Kwabenya, that's Dom Kwabenya recollation. Pink sheets for the 3 polling stations exist only in soft copy forms. I don't know how that came about, but there were a number of disruptions led to this distraction. We carried that live on Ghana Decides 2024 when Election Command Center did those live coverage within the period as well. So make sure that what you think about it as some of those members of the constituencies, perhaps you would also give us your views. All right. But in the meantime, Kofi Tonto, before this, what was the position of the party in respect of all those?
Position
in terms of the concerns you had subsequently leading to these declarations before yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, well, first of all, a very good morning to you. As you can rightfully recall, my boss conceded to the election, and that was the first indication that we wanted the right thing to be done. Because when it became evidently clear that we had lost the presidential election, we didn't do any shenanigans. We just came out and said, per our own coalition, we feel or we know that we will not be able to cross the 50% plus 1. So we conceded graciously. So as a political party, that's been our position, that once there is enough evidence to show that we have lost or we have won, we'll take that position. And we did that. And for all the other constituencies that we contested at the parliamentary level, where we felt or the data showed that we lost, we conceded, no issues. But then, per the happenings in some constituencies, it became clear that there was some level of coercion. You know, if you take Tema Central, for example, the returning officer was coerced to make pronouncements that were illegal. In fact, it was put in writing that she felt that her life was in danger by actions of Dafiamapo, by actions of Hanabisiu, by actions of my friend Bazentali, that they coerced her to make an illegal declaration. Because she said that at the time of declaration, 2 polling stations had not been included. And she told them that whatever I am declaring now is not conclusive because it is missing 2 polling stations. But they insisted that she declares otherwise, they would deal with her, they would teach her a lesson. These were words they used, and they are found in her official writings. Now, what is the point of coalition? The point of coalition is to ensure that every voter has a right, or every voter's right to vote is counted for. That's the point of coalition. Because the Constitution grants me, you, and every Ghanaian who is of age and of sound mind to vote, and that vote is only valid when that vote is counted. When that vote is not counted, essentially my right has been disenfranchised. So that is the essence of coalition, to make sure that anybody who went through the process the right way, that person's vote is counted. So if you go to declare an election and you disenfranchise people by omitting polling stations, that's an illegality. And that's basically what transpired in all the polling stations, all the constituencies where we are raising questions. In the case of Okankwe Central, there is actually a video where Sam George is coercing the EC returning officer to make specific pronunciations. In fact, Sam George was the one speaking what numbers the EC officer should say. And I've done the due diligence of sending the video to your production as of last night, so they can play for all Ghanaians to see. Sam George was actually telling the EC officer, say this number, say this percentage. I don't think that is how elections must be done. First of all, Sam George was a candidate in Ningo Pram. And that candidate leaves his constituency to go to another constituency to coerce. And you should see the video. Sam George holding the electoral officer by the ribs and forcing him to make declaration clearly under duress. And you should play the video for all Ghanaians to see. And that's an illegality. So the point is, as a party, we abhor any kind of engagement that endorses illegality. Once we have done the right thing, once coalition is done and it is evident that we have lost, we will concede. And the evidence shows that we will concede. Now, the issue of recoalition, I'm actually very, very surprised because in 2004, in Pru constituency, the Honorable Afarijan did recoalition. So the issue of recoalition in itself is not a new thing. It's not a novelty. You know, that's the impression being created as though we've never had a case of recoalition. But the question is recoalition in itself a crime? Absolutely not. Because the issue is not about just collating or making sure that you've just counted. The issue is about collating legally. So if a group of people coerce an electoral officer to collate and pronounce illegality, that cannot stand. And you cannot make the argument that you should go to court. So then in the next election, what the other political parties or what the MPP has to do is to go to a polling station or go to a constituency and coerce a returning officer to make pronouncements that favors us and then tell the NDC, go to court. That will be an absurdity. The right thing must be done. And if the right thing includes recoalition, it must be done. Because the law says that until you go to court, the results have to be gazetted, and then 21 days after gazette, that's when you can go to court. So what are we saying? That an illegality is committed, which illegality we all have evidence of, and we should just watch that illegality to go on.
In respect of Sam George, but more particularly Roxy Nelson Dapamako, who I know is a legal practitioner. And so whether he's a member of parliament for another constituency or not, by way of his own professional standards, and then also as any leadership of any political party, it could have been the MPP, if such people of such nature seem to want to be at any event related to the subject matter we're discussing, it doesn't matter whether it's their constituency or not. It's not the case.
No, see, here's the thing.
Because here lies the case. In your pronouncement or submissions, you seem to be impugning that their presence seem to be the reasons why that assertion has been made, that the Electoral Commission officers did the declaration under duress.
Yeah, so it's not me impugning. It's the Electoral Commission returning officer making a statement of claim written to the headquarters that she was coerced. She used those words. And she said that she was forced to make those declarations under duress. And she was the one that mentioned Dafiamapo's name, mentioned Bazintali's name, mentioned Hanabisiu's name. I didn't.
I see.
I am referencing a document she wrote to the headquarters.
Shadrach, can you get me Dafiamapo on the line, please, if it's possible?
No, I think that, you see...
It's okay. Please let him finish.
Yeah. So it is not me. It is a claim the EC officer made. 2, on the issue of Sam George, it is not me who is saying it. I am referencing a video I have seen where Sam George is telling the EC officer what to say. Now, to your question, it is not a crime for any Ghanaian to visit an election center or even a coalition center. But there are rules. And the rules are that each political party will appoint representatives. The question is, was Sam George the representative for Okankwe Central? That's the question. Were they the officers assigned for Okankwe Central and Tema Central and the other constituencies? That's the first question. Number 2, is that the law that someone who is even permitted to be at the coalition Is that the law that that person coerces the returning officer to make specific pronouncements? That's number 2. Number 3, is that the law that that person, even if that person is permitted, to coerce a returning officer to make the declaration when some polling station data are not available? Clearly, those are not the law. So even if they were permitted to be there, they were not permitted to coerce. They were not permitted to insist that declarations are made. Look, in the Okankwe Central, when you look at the video, the returning officer said, I don't have all the polling stations. They insisted, we don't care, go ahead and declare. That's not the law. So assuming without admitting that they had every right to be there, they had no right to coerce an officer. They had no right to ask, for example, the returning officer is making pronouncements. Some judge was talking, telling him what to say. Is that the law? So the issue is about legality. It's not about making the announcement or the collation results first. It's not just about announcing it. It's about announcing it correctly and legally. And the evidence clearly shows that it wasn't the case.
Kofi Tonto.
Yes, please go ahead.
That you're saying and insisting
that
the issue is about legality. Where in the law does it lie within the rights? And then also the office and the powers that bounds or the EC is enjoined by to determine what is coercion and duress? Coercion,
okay, so when there are laws defined for an action to occur, that law says that for a declaration to be made, all the polling station results have to come in. Is that not the case? We have 2 lawyers here. They can correct me if I'm wrong. Now, the EC officer says that I don't have all the polling station data to make my declaration. Then the people say that we don't care, go ahead and make the declaration. Is that not coercion?
Who determines that?
That determination,
that's a question.
That determination is determined based on the actions that transpired.
Who determines that?
But I've told you that the determination is made on the basis that certain parameters must be met. If those parameters are not met, and you insist that the process must continue, that's coercion. I don't need the Supreme Court to come and tell me, for example, if I pull a gun on you to engage in an activity, I don't need the Supreme Court to come and, or you don't need the Supreme Court to come and tell you that I'm coercing you. There's evidence of that act. So why do I need a Supreme Court or need a court to come and tell me that this is coercion when the laws are clear that to declare results, you must follow certain parameters? That's the point that I'm making.
Edwiji, these very subjects in contention, the assertion and position of the Electoral Commission, as earlier communicated, leading to the action that was taken at the court for which the court made the ruling or the judgment that it did. It means that they've made the determination, right? So, you should be satisfied.
So I think that we need to put matters in proper perspective.
Which is?
1, at the time Dr. Farijan even suggested a recollation, there was no CI 127. CI 127 was made on the 1st of July 2020 by Madame Jane Mensah. So there was a different legal regime. And so if you recall, in 2020, after she made CI 127, the NDC had issues with Techiman South. Led by the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, then minority leader, we approached her at the Ridge office with a petition, only praying for her to recollate the result as quote-unquote declared by the officer who had no figures whatsoever. Now, when we wrote that petition, she responded to us, and in paragraph 13 of that response, she stated categorically that recollation is permissible at all level until declaration, and that after declaration, there is no recollation or recount. Your only recourse, in her own words, is to approach the court. The paragraph 14-15, she now goes to tabulate pursuant to regulation 43, what is required to be done. So, Kofi, first of all, don't mislead the people. 2, the returning officer for Tema Central is not a lady. So it is not even possible that a lady was coerced or whatever. It cannot be correct. The returning officer for Tema Central is Akwesi Brobe, and it's known. Now this is what happened. The Tema Metro EC boss was the one who wrote that letter to Madame Jane Mensah. First of all, he has no bearing whatsoever in that intervention, because pursuant to Regulation 2.3 is the returning officer. The returning officer for Tema Central, like I pointed out earlier, is by name Akwesi Brobe. Now guess what happened? Once Akwesi Brobe is alive, on Saturday, Madame Jane Mensah and Bosman Asare and Samuel Tete decided to appoint a new person called Francis Chum, the deputy returning officer, to now go and declare the MPP candidate as the winner. So, between these two, which one is duress? That illegality that took place. So, we should all have at the back of our mind. But you see, I just want us to take this clearly. I was there. When
you were where?
I was at the collation center, the regional collation center. He is asking what was Sam George's locus? What was Dafia Mekpo's locus? What was Hanabisiu, Malik Basintale and co? In fact, what got me to the EC collation center at Rich was that Honorable Afenyo Makin, my own senior Frank Davis, Fred Owari, Peter McMenu were all there.
With locals?
I don't know. Now he's talking about locals. In fact, that is what, hold on, just stay calm. Okay. So at Ridge here, that is what actually got me. So immediately I sent WhatsApp message on our platform that the lawyers who are in court kindly rush to, because Frank Davis and co are all there and they are about to start this process. So let us all. So when the lawyers got there, they said they won't allow them. So I had to go there and say, no, this is one of our legal team members. This, and then we all went in and started the collation system. I've sent you a video. He's saying that Sam George coerced the EC person. No such thing happened. Do you know?
The assertion he makes it that Sam George was.
No, now listen. No, now listen to me.
Utterances is construed to mean.
Oh, I've sent you the figure. The figures. Hold on. The figures that were put on the declaration came from the EC officer's laptop. I've sent you the video. So it is not like NDC conjured figures and put on the declaration form. No, the EC. In fact, when you were doing it, I took, because I knew maybe a day like this would come. So I personally took a video whilst he was entering, and seated by him was his deputy. So where from this issue of duress? 2, and this is where I want to expose you. When these 5 seats were declared, I went to court with a judicial review, with a judicial review application. When we went to court, obviously judicial review, you know how we do it. You have to attach a supporting affidavit, sworn to by my general secretary. Guess what? If there was evidence that one of these returning officers or whatsoever was a subject of duress, what you do is that you file an affidavit in opposition and particularize these instances of duress. We went to court. The judge asked the Electoral Commission lawyer, have you filed any affidavit in opposition to this deposition by the General Secretary of NDC? Answer, no. In the absence of that, where is the evidence of this duress? Do you know why the Electoral Commission could not get any of these 5 persons to file any affidavit in opposition? Because you swear to it. And once you swear to, if you are found to have lied, that amounts to perjury. And so, tactically, they decided not to file any affidavit in opposition, knowing that whatever they would say, I was going to cross-examine them on it. And so they decided that they won't file. Go and check the court record. If you claim that you are the subject of duress, what you do is that you come to court Then you go through the oath. If you lie, you'll be found to have engaged in perjury. Nothing of that sort happened. Because they knew that what they were saying was choreographed. Now you see, the EC officer who wrote that response to Madam Jane Mensah, that is Ofosuhene, who is the Tema Metro EC director. Was he the returning officer? Where was the returning officer, Akwesi Brobe? 2, the day they came to, what do we call it? Tesano. No, not Tesano. The one they just did on Saturday.
EC Greater Accra office.
Perfect. Do you know that Kwesi Brobe was there? However, Jane Mensah now appointed his deputy to now come and do the collation which declared the NPP candidate the winner.
What's your point with this?
The point I'm making is that while the man is alive, if he claimed that he was under duress, that would have been the basis for him to speak to the camera.
Why is that you didn't request for it?
Which one?
For Brobe to be the one.
No, we said it. You saw Roxanne. You saw Roxanne telling Ofosuhene that what is your locus in this matter? You are the district officer. You are not the returning officer. So stay away. They will not. Because this was a fixed match between the MPP and the EC. And guess what? Of all the seats, they declared it in favor of MPP. Look, in the case of Okankwe Central, because I participated in the process, and you see, look, we know what happened. Oh. And that is why I have said...
What's the meaning of you know what happened?
No, because we saw everything. Look, Obuasi East, the returning officer who returned the election, listen carefully, he returned the election for the NDC candidate Samuel Abuaji in Obuasi. They now come to Accra, the same man. And at the time when he declared the result in Obuasi, the MPP MP was standing by and even signed the constituency declaration form.
He signed?
He signed it. I have the pink sheet with me. Now he comes to Accra and says, no, he was under duress. Now you see the danger, and that is why MPP, you should be worried. The danger is that you and I contest an election and we are declared winner. Then one morning, the same returning officer, for whatever reason, comes and says, when he declared you winner, he did it under duress. And so that is the basis to call for recollation, and then the result is overturned. There is an inherent mischief in that conduct. If you permit it, it portends chaos for tomorrow. Because then what it means is that an EC officer can just wake up tomorrow and then I'll come and say ABCD. You were talking about locals. Look, I saw Afenyo. Yes, I'll wrap up. I saw Afenyo Market. Even on Saturday. He was there. What is his locus? What is his locus? So in one breath, you had a problem with Sam George. In the other one, you don't. Even in Tesano. I was there in Tesano. Guess what happened? I saw my own senior, Obiamwa. I saw him there. I saw Afenyo Market there. In fact, I spoke with Obiamwa. For a long time, we're having our own interaction there. So, look, don't come and sit here and create the impression that the presence of Malik Basintale, Hanabisu, and others was the point or basis of alleging duress. Guess what? Tema Central. Do you know where the declaration happened? The regional police. The declaration happened at the regional police. You are saying that in the midst of police officers, an EC officer was subject of duress. A man who raised the winner's hand was done with duress. First of all, where in all of this instance? Because your media men were there.
We actually carried it.
Exactly. Where did you see gun being pointed at any EC official? So Madam Jane Mensah and her other commissioners contrived this narrative in order to take away these seats from the NDC for the MPP. It has been suggested that the MPP are so much afraid that NDC will get two-thirds majority. First of all, what the NDC needed in Parliament was 141 parliamentary seats to conduct business. And by the grace of the Almighty God, He had given us in excess, even as we speak now, of all your machinations and schemes, shenanigans and everything, we still have over 181 uncontested. In any case, look at Domi Kwabena, and I'm wrapping up on this. Look at Domi Kwabena. The 3 polling stations you claim were problematic, NDC won all 3.
Which are yet to be...
Yeah, what they claim. Even with that... No, you see, the EC think they are smart.
Because the contention is that the pink sheets there were destroyed.
They had been putting pressure on the returning officer for Domi Kwabena. to do what they want him to do.
I don't understand. He told you that?
Oh, you see, my constituency organizer, hold on. My constituency organizer, the EC people called him that he should produce the 3 pink sheets. Then we said, look, you are supposed to be the originator. You should have it. And all these 3 we want. So, plus or minus, there is no way you can escape from Dome Kwabena or Kankwe Central. But I just want to expose the duplicity of the Electoral Commission. They say incomplete results. Damongo, was it complete? The EC office had got bent down, correct? Mm.
And outstanding polling stations, yeah. We're reporting
absolutely.
That. Election commands.
How come that in all of this, Madame Jemensa is not adding Damongo to it? That is the question. That already shows how biased she is. She has taken side in this contest. And there's one thing I thank God for. Imagine if the presidential election result, the gap is not 1.7 million and just some few thousands. Madame Jemensa will be collating the results in Bema camp with military people. But God has exposed a grand scheme and ensured that the NDC won as much parliamentary seats and with a 1.7 million gap. That one, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. And that is where we are.
Let me just introduce for the discussion as well, Dr. Joe Asante-Okyere, political analyst, also lectures with the University of Cape. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning, my brother.
Okay, okay, I'll come to you. Let's Lawyer Pierre Dankwa look at all this. Look, you look at all the contentions that have been made. More importantly, there have even been concerns that have been raised, and sometimes even corroborated by our reporters on the ground, that the pink sheets sometimes that are presented by the Electoral Commission, the handwritings and by way of the surface and how they look in terms of conformity are far different from what either party could have, or maybe one of the parties which should be the contesting NDC could have, on one hand. Even prior to that, we're told that, well, if you look at the report, 5,000 police officers and military people being put on alert for that recollation that took place. And then subsequently, we as media houses, not only TV3, subsequent other media houses in the country on election day, subsequently the days where we had the announcement and the declaration being made, these events being carried live. And then we are told that the events that we carried live on video had contentions of the same individuals who are assigns of the Electoral Commission thereof being put under duress, while the videos also don't really tell you that. What do you make of this as a lawyer?
So let me take this opportunity to wish your viewers a good morning, wish my brother Tonto here a good morning, and my learned friend here a good morning. In fact, the whole incident is very, very disappointing and very disheartening. It's like we all saw this coming when people perceived to have political party coloring were appointed onto the
Electoral Commission.
Yeah. And then also the way and manner this issue of recollation has been handled, taking into consideration the clear terms of the CI 127, the fact that the declarations were aired live, so whether or not there were duress or undue influence, I think we all have our perceptions as to same. And then the impact of all these on the systems we have created to more or less guard or serve as a vanguards to this democracy and our democratic processes. For me, I think a massive dent has been done to our democratic processes. The fact that the EC strangely can arrogate upon itself powers to determine whether or not a declaration has been made under duress or not. I would have thought that because we are in the rule of law system, such questions will be questions that the court itself must be made to answer. You understand? So contrary to what my brother Tonto here is saying, even where people have been caught red-handed in acts, you can't say that because you've caught them red-handed committing an offense, you can certainly arrogate upon yourself powers and declare them guilty. You understand? We have a system. We've all subjected ourselves to rule of law, and on the question whether or not a declaration has been made under duress and so is illegal, I don't think it's the EC that has the power to make that determination. So I'm very disappointed, and I'm also worried, not because I'm a lawyer, but because I'm a Ghanaian. I'm very worried at the dent that.
And a stakeholder?
Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. That's the biggest stakeholder you can ever have. The dent that all what is happening has done to the integrity of the EC currently and the integrity of the EC going forward. It was like it's been rightly said. So what does this mean? That a declaration can be made, and the EC can come back the next day and say that, listen, I made those declarations under duress. That's the question that the court has to answer, not you, the EC yourself. The powers of the EC have been stated clearly in our constitution, and I don't think those powers include the powers to make a determination as to the legality or not of a declaration. If you believe that a declaration so made is illegal, then the proper forum to go for that determination to be made is the court. You see, other than that, then we are creating a system, or we are laying down the process for chaos. You understand? And so, personally, like I said, I'm very worried. They've lost the perception battle. You recall that prior to the election, I stated that the burden on the EC was not just to deliver elections which were free and fair, but elections which were perceived to be free and fair. I can bet you that in the issue of these 7 recollations and redeclarations, that perception has been lost massively. The perception out there is that, listen, the EC is in bed with the MPP. I'm not saying that is true, but that perception is there. And that perception is supported by massive, as in by what is happening. Yes, because we all saw the declarations. If they thought that they did so under duress, I thought that the proper forum was the court to make that determination. But for the EC to arrogate upon itself powers to determine legalities or not of declarations, and strangely, all the 7 recollations and redeclarations have gone to one political party. As in, it raises too many suspicions, which in my view does not aid this system we have created, whose focus is to be, or is to serve as a vanguard for the democracy we are practicing.
Oh, very interesting points there. Dr. Asante-Okyere, how do you think these actions, from the day the declarations were made on the 9th, especially these seats that were in contention before 7, of course, were again declared for the MPP after recollation, have on the Electoral Commission the perception of the public going forward?
Let me say good morning to your viewers and to colleagues in the studio. I think that Electoral Commission is doing itself more harm than good. And this, of course, will go down as the worst commissioners we've ever had. You know, if you remember so critically, I started bashing this particular Electoral Commission before the 2020 elections, because some of the bizarre decisions they were taking, I mean, just mind-blowing, to say the least. Now, I am foreseeing, and the earlier speaker said something to the effect that it's quite strange that all of them have gone to the NPP. Well, I think that the NDC decided not to take part. What I'm foreseeing is the fact that those who were earlier declared as winners will go to Parliament on the 7th of January. And those whom the EC, through recollation, has declared will also probably go to Parliament. And there'll be a standoff.
How is that possible?
We are still going to have some kind of constitutional crisis. I foresee the EC's plan as that let the NDC be the one to go to court and not the other way around. Because the problem is that the MPP has been trounced, and it appears that they need a certain number, right, to do some kind of business or to give them some kind of mainstay in Parliament. I don't see that happening. Don't forget that, Roland, being an MP comes with some economic benefit and financial benefit to the mother party. Remember that every MP pays a quota of their salary to the mother party at the national level. Now, the fewer the number of MPs in Parliament means that your economic empowerment, the economic or financial empowerment of the mother party will suffer. 2, when you have an MP in an area that is not dominated by the NDC, for example, and now they have won some of these seats, what that means is that the NDC can easily use that as a leverage come the future to be able to create a buffer of a sort that will help the party prepare itself come 2028 elections. So you could see that the stakeholdership in the whole of this shenanigan that the EC is putting across or is putting forward to all of us to accept has some implications. And these are some of the implications I have outlined. And so they don't really care what they are doing today, because I can tell you that they sense within them that they are likely to leave that office. They can sense within them that they will not stay in some few months to come in that particular office. Therefore, let us rabble-rouse. To hell with everybody and to hell with everything. Let us take these decisions. After all, we are not going to last anyway. Because I do not foresee these kinds of commissioners in the near future conducting elections in this country. Again, never again. I don't see that happening. Probably what the NDC is trying to do is to wait when they take the reins of power come 7th of January, then they will unleash their political strategy. Other than that, now that they did not take part in the whole process, you have turned around, you have done your recollation, which is not supported by CR 127. So I foresee the NDC going to court to prove their case. So they can either decide to go to Parliament because they were declared so, or they can decide let the reins of government be given to the NDC come 7th of January, and then they will take up the case. And of course, it's strange that the MPP that has always touted itself, like when they say go to court, go to court, go to court, is suddenly not interested in going to court. I said this last week thereabout. They are not interested in going to court, but they would rather want to use the EC to do their bidding. It's strange. You said something. How do you, under what circumstance would a person be under duress? You cannot prove that. So it will now be the call of the EC to go and prove how those people were under duress and where the evidence will come from. But finally, on this issue, I'm wondering if the NDC, they have the pink sheets of these polling stations. If these pink sheets, they have evidence to the effect that they won these elections of these places that have been overturned, then I think that they can also decide to wait. Let the people gazette, and then they will go to court and go and prove the case. Sometimes it can be a marathon of a job, but if you look at what the Chief Justice has proposed, then it means that obviously cases of that nature, they may even have to sit on Saturdays to make sure that it is cleared. So if the evidence is there, why not? But it's so strange that the EC will decide. Sometimes it is not everything that you sound so legalistic. You see the two outstanding, constituencies where the electoral officers, the returning officers, decided that without the presence of this, they will not be able to continue. That, for me, is a mark of a firm returning officer who feels that that is how the law should be. But in these cases where the NDC did not take part, the EC has gone ahead to do recollation and do declarations afresh for the MPP. Maybe time will tell if what the EC has done is a truism or a falsity. But they shouldn't think that there wouldn't be an establishment of a committee of inquiry or commission of inquiry into the activities of the EC. I have proposed as part of the overhauling process, that the EC will have to go through. There's the need for a forensic audit of all the activities of the EC, even the 2020 elections in particular. And people will have to come and testify. And evidences should be given across board. And we need to purge this particular state institution of all the infractions that have taken place. There is the need for proper cleansing of the EC. We cannot accept this kind of commissioners to be in charge come 2028 elections, because they could easily plunge this country into some kind of chaos. Because the delay in the collation process, for me, informed me that there was a grand agenda, to take away the mandate of the people and give to other political party, because it just did not make sense to me. Because this is the first time we are seeing an undue delay, which for me, it was purported. Even if at not the top level, you could see that once you had recruited people who are politically tainted to do this process, we saw what happened, the tape recording of a certain Central Regional PC that also lost. How he was talking with his electoral officers, that came out. So you could see that at the middle line, they had done their own machinations along the line, and that is what caused undue delay. And this undue delay of these coalitions, sparked all the controversies. And for me, it was grandly planned, to undo the NDC along the line. And that's the more reason why we need that kind of change. We need to reform the EC, the recruitment process. I've proposed that they should take it away from the EC. You have Codeo, you have all those, let them do the background checks of all these people. Let NIB go into it and bring out a list of people who are not politically tainted that can be accepted. The commissioners, let people apply, let them go meet the parliament, let them get vetted. Those who win, they should get about 2/3, of parliament, the numbers in parliament, and they become the commissioners. That for me will exude that kind of confidence that we need in the EC, but not this kind of people that we have over there.
All right, but it looks like all these contentions also mean that we have procedures by which, if you want to remove a commissioner, etc., and we know we've had those experiences. At the end of the day, we're all political stakeholders in this, whether it's civil society, the media, etc. What do you think? What has been played out before us in this election? Perhaps it creates a certain either positive precedent or negative one going forward.
Well, first of all, before I come to that, I do know, and people have even sent me stories where the High Court ordered for recollation, which even the NDC went for a stay of that decision. I don't know if that stay was granted, but there is an order from the High Court for recollation. So to answer your question, it's not just the EC doing recollation. The High Court gave them the order to do recollation.
That's true.
Yeah, so let me state that emphatically. So the EC just didn't wake up and do anything. 2, I find it extremely surprising that we make the case that you can't establish duress by the face of the action. It has to be established by the court. But in the utterances being made here, and even the professor who was speaking, he alluded to shenanigans and all matter of things, all matter of ills, which have not been established by any competent jurisdiction of court. We are in this country where people impugn corruption. Even people come on this platform and call people corrupt and all manner of things without any court pronouncing any person corrupt. In fact, just last Saturday, an MP was in your studios for over 30 minutes or so, stated all manner of corruption and all manner of things. But he stated those on the face of the value. Nobody said that no competent court has pronounced these people corrupt, etc. My brother Eduji sat here and made similar pronouncements against the EC. Which court has made pronouncements against the EC? But he made them. On the basis of what? On the basis of his observation. So how is it that somehow, and I've sent you videos. One video where NDC supporters were actually insisting to the EC officer that if you don't pronounce it, we'll kill you. I've sent you the video. Do I need a court to tell me if somebody says that I will kill you? Do I need a court to tell me that that is a form of duress? What are we talking about? I mean, somehow we want to approbate and reprobate the people who sit here and call people corrupt when there is no competent court of jurisdiction that's pronounced such people corrupt. You sit here and call them corrupt. On what basis do you call them corrupt? On the basis, quote unquote, of maybe what you have seen, whether true or false. Just that is enough for you to call Akufo-Addo corrupt, call that person corrupt. So for me, there is enough evidence of duress. Now, where? Aduji, you talk about locals.
No, you brought it.
No.
The counter.
Roland asked me, listen, Roland, what I said was that Sam George was a candidate at a constituency. And all I saw was that Sam George was at Okankwe Central. And then you even asked me a question. Am I saying that...
You mentioned Sam George, Roxon.
Yes.
That's why...
Yes, and you even asked me a question that, am I saying that they shouldn't be there? And I said that the law even makes room for people to be present. But it is what you do. What are your functions? Sam George may very well go to a polling station to observe. But what law does Sam George have? What powers does he have to coerce an officer and tell the officer what to say? You are the lawyer. Please educate me.
Did.
Oh, but I've sent the video. I've sent the video. Please play. I've sent the video. Roland, have I sent you the video or not?
You sent me video. A lot of people have sent me videos.
Kindly play the video where you see Sam George telling the EC officer what to say.
No, I am.
So don't You are aware. You are aware.
You see, don't mislead the public.
No, please. Let's make it
I'll have
submission.
my opportunity.
I have not misled the public. I have not conjured anything. I have simply replayed a video I watched. Okay? And I simply quoted from a statement I read. Now you argue that Kwesi something was the returning officer, and then his boss, the lady who wrote to the Electoral Commission. Whatever that lady wrote is on paper. Has Kwesi Brobe come and refuted all the things that his boss wrote to the Electoral Commission? Do you have evidence where Kwesi Brobe has refuted everything that was in the document? So it's not enough to say that his boss wrote it and he didn't. Who gave the information to the boss? Are you saying that the boss conjured the information and wrote it to the Electoral Commissioner? Of course, she couldn't. It must have come from somebody. So unless you give me evidence where Brobe,
And in relation to that, ask you a specific
I'll come back to that.
In terms of what precedents we're setting going forward.
I'll come back to that. You have to give us evidence where Brobe has refuted the claims made in that statement. You don't have such evidence. You cannot therefore say that what's in that statement is false. And I have replayed a video and I have made categorical statement of what I have watched in the video. So you cannot refute that as well unless you have contrary evidence, which you cannot provide. So the point I am making is that any Ghanaian can go to a station when there is a collation, but no Ghanaian has a right to coerce or insist on an EC officer on what to say. So don't obfuscate the issue by deliberately trying to mix issues up to confuse people. Don't do that. Now, on the issue of perception, for me, I don't speak for the EC. And I've made it very clear time and again that when the EC commits something that, in my opinion, is an ill, I'll reprimand it. And I'm on record here, Metro TV, etc., where I have said that...
How would you describe the position of the EC and its reactions and actions thereof.
Which position of the EC?
Well, whether it calls for recollation or
that recollation thing, that Edwigi was talking about. I have just told you that the High Court granted the EC to recollate.
Before then, there was the position of the EC that said that they wanted to do a recollation. Indeed, exercises.
But that position was not executed until a court gave them the permission to execute. You can take a position, but if you take a position and you don't act on it until a court gives you that grant, what wrong have the EC committed? I mean, you are a lawyer. EC can take a position on an issue. And they took a position and went to court to validate that position. That's not an ill. That's actually lawful.
EC went to court.
But I'm sorry, they went to court.
All right.
And then the pronouncement was made.
Okay,
so let me wrap up my point.
No, you're not wrapping up. I have Roxanne Nelson, the legal practitioner and MP, who was present at I know Tema Central, for example, and a number of the recollator centers as well. He's on the line. Roxanne, you wanted to make an input based on what Kofi Tonto had said in reaction to the role you played, so to speak.
Yes. First of all, I don't know whether Kofi has a problem with his grammar.
Please.
And using
Mr. Roxanne, please let's be civil in our comments, please.
Please. I am saying, I don't know whether Kofi has a problem with his grammar, but there was no woman in the center of the collation that took place the second time on Monday the 9th at Tema Central.
Okay.
Two, I was an accredited agent for a candidate for Tema Central.
Okay.
3, nobody threatened the returning officer for Tema Central, nor the metro director. The point I made that day was that he was trying to do things in accordance with his own thinking and not with recourse to the law. So I have been guiding him and pointing out the provisions in the law in accordance with which he needed to conduct the affairs. He won't listen. I have also sent you videos of the day. In fact, 2 separate videos recorded by your own reporters. Now, this contrived story surrounding these disputed constituencies, when a constituency outcome is disputed, you go to court. You have decided not to go to court, but decided to use the EC to make certain declarations in your favor. Now, we rejected 2 pink sheets. It's a Roland. The EC has power to reject ballot papers, especially when the ballots printed were not done in accordance with law. So an EC officer has the power to say this is a rejected ballot. In the same way, the EC has the power to reject fabricated or forged pink sheets. NPC was insisting that pink sheets that have clearly been fabricated be admitted so that it will favor their candidate. This has been the central issue in Tema Central. When I raised the issue again on Saturday, and they would not listen, and we boycotted the process, they added those 2 fabricated things and declared the results in favor of the FPP. So Tonto shouldn't say that collation willy-nilly must be done. It is the collation of regular votes and regular pink sheets, not fabricated pink sheets.
Okay. Point made. Thank you for the clarification there.
Roland, let me respond to this. You see, when I came here, I stated categorically that I am reporting from a document which an EC officer wrote to the Electoral Commissioner. This is what the document said.
You mean his report?
Yeah, the report. It was written by one Ofusuhene Asante Manase. And this is what it's... it says
Metro director.
Tema Metro Electoral Officer. Oh, but you see, hold on. You corrected. I initially thought that statement was written by the officer, and that bit I got wrong. It doesn't change the substantive matter. So this thing about grammar it's a non-starter. Let me put it that way, because that's not the issue. The substantive issue is that this is what the officer said. It says, in fact, and I'm quoting, quote, in fact, Roxanne Dafia-Makbo kept threatening me. This is in the document. I'm not saying it. So if, Roxanne, you have anything, go and challenge that. I am not saying it. The document here says that you kept threatening the officer. It says
not the returning officer. I don't get you.
Please, let him make his submission, please. Please,
no, but you see, Kofi, by law, the person who returns parliamentary election is the returning officer.
We get that.
Nowhere in this document is Maxwell Fosuhini saying that Roxanne threatened the returning officer whose core responsibility and duty is to declare the winner. Did you see anything there?
Let me read. Let me read it.
And the returning officer is Akwesi Brobe.
You've made the point. I want you to wrap up so that I don't have the time. That's why. We don't have much of the time.
Stop focusing on the tangentials. The substantive is that I am reading to you a document submitted by an EC Metro officer to the Electoral Commissioner. That document is making certain pronouncements, including Roxanne Dafia-Makbo threatening people. Are you saying that this document is fake? So stop the tangentials. You can go and debate who wrote it or otherwise, but the fact is that Dafia-Makbo is accused of threatening people. It's not me saying it. So what is this thing that you are doing? Stop it.
All right.
Now the point is that I have sent you videos. Please play the videos for Ghanaians to see. The ones where they are threatening the EC officer that they will kill the EC officer. Are you telling me I need a court to tell me killing somebody or threatening someone to kill the person is coercion? I need a court to tell me that? I need a court to tell me that it is not right for some judge to tell an EC officer what to say? What are you talking about?
Can I proceed?
All right, please.
Okay. So you see, I want to even start from here. I mean, today my brother here sits here and talks about when you make claims of corruption against people. Curious. Your party, of which you advised Dr. Bawumia, you even did a campaign ad alleging GM was involved in corrupt acts in Airbus, knowing very well that he had been cleared in this election. And you are here talking about this. Maybe next time you should... this is your... Hold on, please. What principle?
No,
what
please.
principle? I will not take that from you.
Let's stick to the issue.
Two, you see, in these particular instances, the Electoral Commission had already made up its mind to do the recollation with or without the court order. What took us to Tesano? What took us to Tesano? Because even prior to this order from the court, you had already made up your mind that you recollate the result. Contrary to your own position, you advanced when the NDC approached you for Techiman South. So don't bring the court thing here. In any case, look, when my learned friend Gary Nimako brought the mandamus application before the court, and I'll say this, when we appeared before the judge, the Electoral Commission, the judge asked the Electoral Commission if they were opposed to the mandamus application. They said no, they were not opposed. I stood up and said, my lord, with the greatest respect, the EC and what my learned friend are saying, it looks something. So we have filed a joinder. The judge asked me, where is the copy? I said, my lord, this is it. He sent his clerk for a copy of my joinder application. Notwithstanding the joinder application, the judge went ahead and gave this ruling. You think we are not smart? We know what is happening.
Are you accusing the judge?
I am not. I am just telling you that we are not.
What are you? Look,
no, please. It's okay.
He's accusing the judge.
There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason why we brought the joinder. There's a reason why we brought the joinder. Because we felt that for the EC to say they are not opposed, it means that no. So we brought a joinder that allow us to join the action so that we can bring you contrary facts. The judge said, where is the copy of your joinder? I said, my lord, this is it. He sent a lady clerk, came for it. Notwithstanding, his own acknowledgement of the gender, he still went and said he's ordering that this thing should be recollated. Two, the judicial review that I brought, the EC never filed any affidavit in opposition. Guess what? If the Electoral Commission has this evidence, what you do is that you ask Fosu Maswa to depose to an affidavit and allege these instances. He cannot prove it in court. Always remember that assertion is not evidence. You have to go there and prove it. You can sit anywhere and say you're under duress. How can you say you're under duress when the thing happened in front of armed police officers? You mean Basintale is stronger and bigger than the Ghana police? But no, I beg you. You see, I kept quiet and allowed you. But you see, we also have a number, as we are talking, a number of videos have come from Pandai to wherever where they were describing. If I want to play those videos now, we create another murky situation where there will be a lot of inputs. And this conversation could not come to a Roland,
so
Roland, I want to draw your attention.
Please, you have 2 minutes. Try and wrap up for me so that.
I want to draw your attention to something. Damango. Damango has about 93 polling stations. At the time, the Electoral Commission regional boss for Savannah declared Samuel Abu-Jinapo as the winner. They could not trace 49 polling station pink sheets. Meanwhile, J. Mensah was the one who authorized the regional EC boss to declare Samuel Abu-Jinapo the winner.
How did you come to that?
No, the man said it. He said, I have been instructed.
From a call about?
Yeah, no, because the returning officer for Damango, Adams Awutoma, was not the one who declared Samuel Abu-Jinapo.
Who did?
The EC regional boss for Savannah region. And he said he had been instructed by headquarters to go ahead and declare Samuel Abu-Jinapo. In all of this, have you heard the EC talk about Damango? And that is why I am saying that this Electoral Commission has demonstrated manifest bias. Because they know that if you recollate the results in Damango with the 49, there is no way. Again, have you seen, I have only a minute. You see the Electoral Commission returning officer for Ablekuma North, Vincent Obey, wherever he is, I salute him. I pray that this man, one day become a commissioner. That is how Afarijan used to operate with integrity. When they were pressurizing him, the MPP people were he said, look, I cannot.
That he didn't have a number of
exactly. That I cannot. That I cannot do it. And rejected that invitation, unholy invitation. That is how you act. What was the basis of declaring Samuel Abu-Jinapo?
So will you go to court substantively after?
I keep my strategies to myself.
Right.
So in concluding on this matter, the National Democratic Congress, in this election, about 5 of our members were killed. The blood of these members who were killed in this election is never going to be in vain. We will deploy every available means, legal, to get this unlawful, shameful conduct of the Electoral Commission persons reversed. And we'll do that. And then you see...
After they are sworn in.
Oh, when is the swearing in? Hello, the Chief Justice says we'll be having expeditious election-related matters.
Thank you for ending. Thank you for ending. No more comments. No, Kofi Tonto.
So if you have an Electoral Commission...
No.
Who will vote for a presidential candidate?
People are watching.
I'm okay.
I want. Okay.
Now,
you should be okay.
Now,
just 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes.
Just briefly.
Great.
Now, we understand, and I knew before I came here, that the recollation was done as a result of a court order. The court order was by way of emendamus.
The question I was asking was that the Electoral Commission had been suggesting that there will be a recollation before that court order comes. Yes. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm saying that court order was by way of it was called
an affirmation?
No, it was by way of emendamus.
Very well.
But you are talking to
I'm coming. I beg you. Don't, please. Emendamus is simply a judicial rate you issue to compel a government official. But I was going to explain. Don't interject. To compel a government official or public official to do an act they are refusing an act that they are obligated by law to do, that they are refusing to do. That's the mandamus. The question is one, the recollection that the mandamus compelled the EC to do, were they obligated by law to do the act? And two, were they refusing to do the act? My view is that even this mandamus even adds fuel to the perception that they are acting together, that it is a fixed match. Because usually
fixed match?
Yeah, because a mandamus is a rate. It's a judicial rate that you issue to compel a governmental official to do an act they're obligated by law to do, that they are refusing to do. And the question is the EC by law obligated by, is the EC obligated by law to carry out a recollection? One,
after a declaration.
After a declaration. And no. Two, were they refusing that? Yeah. So that if you go to court, let me land.
You don't say anything.
Yes.
So you have also joined.
I beg you, let me finish. Okay. So clearly, when you've gone by way of a mandamus to do what they have done, then are we wrong if we have that perception that it's a fixed match? And two, we are talking about the issue of duress. And my brother is saying that once you yourself, you think there's a duress, then you can take any action. I'm saying that this is the rule of law. This is the rule of law. And so when you even caught somebody red-handed committing an offense, it's what a defense.
Determination is
you must take the matter to court. Because at the end of the day, the reason you go to court is to settle disputes. You are saying A, you are saying B, then the court will make a determination based on evidence. So for me, this court order itself does not even help. What it does is that it adds more fuel to that perception that the EC is acting together with the MPP to subvert the will of the people of this country.
Can I have a second? Just 1 second.
Dr. Asante-Okyere, your conclusion, 2.5 minutes.
Well, as I said earlier on, I think that the image of the EC is tainted beyond any measure, because if you look at their presser that they told us, explaining why there is the need for recollection and that they were not going to accept those declarations, some under duress, others you are saying that you have some outstanding polling station results that ought to be added, so they ought not to be accepted. But if you listen to Eduji, that Mango itself, you have outstanding, not 10, not 20, about 40 something. So that particular elections over there will also have to come, for some kind of litigation. And I'm very sure they may not want to deploy their arsenal in public. Maybe later on, once the gazetting is done, they may take up that particular. But I still insist that this particular crop of EC cannot stay in office, because they are a threat to our democracy, they are a threat to our electoral processes, and they have no business staying at that particular place. All the legal, arsenals will have to be deployed as a nation to ensure that they don't stay there. And we need a new crop of untainted, commissioners to take over. And that, for me, is what I suggest.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere, lecturer with the UCC, and then also political analyst. Let me just go ahead and read a couple of comments in the meantime. Lawyer Eric Alifo says, what is Mr. Tonto saying? Judges must be accused if they act suspiciously. My legal director must not be shy of stating so. Accusing judges when their rulings are wayward and making commentary thereof is just a feedback to them that we want our courts to do better. And then subsequently, I have also a comment coming from Jerry Mola John Terry, says, kindly help me wish Queen Modesta Yoni a happy birthday, okay? Then this one is also coming from Master Planner Junior Kintampo. My senior Kofi Tonto, we the MPP are 100% in support of the oral team. We'll help them work. The oral team should start probing the double salary MPs and also the mass loss scandal by the former CEO, Sednam Tamaklo. And then we'll quickly do the LPMs. But so this one is coming from Bright. It says, Roland, putting some under duress to undertake a duty is criminal. This must be reported. Do we have a police report suggesting the officer was threatened? So what are they saying in your studios? And then also, Kofi Kojo Chumbuafu says, please tell Kofi Tonto that the demeanor of the same returning officer who declared the election in Fantiakwano the day after he redeclared the same election for a different candidate did not show any cohesion whatsoever. And also thank you very much. Let's also tell you about the Reverend John Tell.
And you don't want to take
the Reverend John Tell Memorial.
We were in court on Friday in Sawam. The judge gave us Tuesday to come.
Reverend John Tell.
To be heard.
I'm even saying Reverend John Tell. Please. Okay. Reverend John Tell Memorial Institute is calling you. They say admissions are all ongoing in all departments. General science, general arts, visual arts, home economics, business, among others. Now, the Reverend John Tell Memorial Institute comprises senior high school, the junior high school level, the primary and preschool, all founded on sound Christian principles. It is also co-educational and then offers boarding and day options. We have excellent academic and moral grooming, a true home away from home, from all that they have with outstanding examination results to add. So they say your word success is their satisfaction. For more information, make sure you contact them. The following lines are available: 055-7804-701 and then 024-344-260. Chabu made mistake too much. They're calling. You said what?
We're saying that
Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you.
Dogs.
I suppose you did not see the beware of dog sign.
No, he intentionally put his face in his way. You intentionally put all your body in the way. Anybody anywhere.
Where did they go? It went that way. Messi, no be me give you pregnancy. Calm down now. Waiting.
What pregnancy?
Hello? Mama? What's wrong with him?
It's okay.
Say, what if they're thieves in disguise?
Going somewhere?
Hey, no.
Who are you? How did you find your way to the house?
One Night Guest in cinemas, 25th December.
One packet of flamingo pain is equal